Hi, my name is Kathy Tremble-Thimright, and I'm a visual artist with a background in painting and drawing, although I really like to refer to myself as a maker, because ultimately that's what I do. I make drawings, I make paintings, I make small sculptural objects, I make functional objects. I basically just like to make things with my hands. I also like to be kind to the environment, recycle and reuse as much as possible. I'm involved with an organization called Creative Chicago Reuse Exchange, CCRX, who was built on this mission. And with them, we came up with this idea of creating imagination journals out of reusable materials. The journal's really just a blank book that you can fill with whatever. Drawings, poems, song lyrics, really whatever your mind can imagine. So let's have a little fun and make a couple imagination journals. So today I'm going to show you how to make an imagination journal. And I'm going to demonstrate a couple different methods so that you can do whichever is easiest for you at home. The first method looks like these. And I'm going to disassemble this one in order to show you its parts and how it was made. The binding that holds it all together is basically a rubber band. It's best if you have one that's about 3 to 4 inches. I love these ones that come on produce because of the colors. They are a bit small for this project unless you can get them stretched out. You'll also need a stick. I collected some on a walk today from outside, but you could use a bamboo skewer from your kitchen supplies, or even a pencil that's getting short. Maybe the eraser is no longer there, because now its job is to hold the book together. The parts of the journal are its cover, the inside pages, and a backing board. This journal is designed to be 8.5 by 5.5, which is basically half of a sheet of copy paper. So all of the parts were cut to fit that size. So let's talk about each of the parts. For the cover, you want something that's a little thicker or stiffer than plain paper. These are some examples. I collected some wallpaper samples. There's cardstock, even covers of magazines and brochures that are a little thicker, a manila file folder. This came from a travel brochure and it has some terrific photographs. This just came in the mail and it has this really nice blue photograph. And here's another brochure I collected at a museum. Gorgeous color, gorgeous cardboard on the outside. Any of those would be terrific for a front cover. For the backing board, you want something a little stiffer. I collected some sample mat boards from my local frame shop. They're nice and thick, and they work great for this project. But you can use cardboard from the back of a notepad. You can see how I've cut this one down. You could use the cardboard from the brochures. Basically, you're trying to just give some stiff to the back side of your journal. Then, for the inside pages, I like to use a variety of whatever I have around. Could be graph paper, plain paper, colored paper. Maps could be fun. Things you get in the mail. The back side is still good, so I've torn this letter down. I've even got wrapping paper and tissue paper with patterns on it, some coloring pages that never got finished, some construction paper. Here's a worksheet from school with a drawing on it. And basically, I would fold this in half. I could use scissors to cut it. Or if you have a paper cutter like this, it's very handy. You simply slide it in and align the fold with the cutter and slide it down. Or if you don't have a cutting device, you can simply fold the paper back and forth 2 or 3 times, giving it a real good crease. And from that, you should be able to tear it down. And voila, you now have 2 pages for your journal. I'm also interested in reusing envelopes that come in the mail. These again can be cut down to the 8.5 by 5.5 size and then inserted as pages into your journal. Okay, so let's talk about preparing the pages. As I mentioned, you want everything to be the same size. You could create a cardboard template and cut everything that way. Or if you're working with things that are 8.5 by 11, simply tear them in half. You'll see this coloring book page won't quite fit my template this way, so I can't fold it in half. So I would need to put it this way and make some marks that I can see, and then make some cuts in order to make this page fit into my journal. If there's a little overhang or one is a little short on the edge, that's okay. Here's my cover. Looks like I might have cut this one a little large. I can always just trim that down. Once you have all your parts, a cover, a backing board, and all your inside pages, you're going to hole punch them. You can see everything is the same size all the way around. The best tool for this job is a 2-hole punch, like this. You just slide the pieces in, pushing it against the back edge and aligning it against this guide, and press. That's the cover. Next I'll do my backing board. The nice thing about this 2-hole punch is it can go through some pretty thick cardboard. So this mat board that I picked up from the frame store, it will even punch holes in there. When you do your inside pages, I recommend, maybe 5 at a time. Stack them down so that they're all equal. And again, all the way against the back and against the guide and there. And I like to turn them over, turn my cover over, put my pages over, so then my holes are aligning. My next set of pages, slide them in and punch. Your journal can be as thick as you'd like it to be. I've done it up to 50 pages with a rubber band this size. I think this one here I have about 15 pages. It's really up to you. Once it's all assembled, sometimes I use a little stick or the pencil to just make sure I get my holes lined up. It's going to be the easiest for inserting the rubber band. And you're going to bring the rubber band up from the bottom. Sometimes easiest if you go through the layers a little bit at a time. So the backing board first, and then maybe a couple inside layers, and a few more inside layers, inside pages, and finally the cover. I left the little tail hanging there. I'm going to insert my stick into the loop on the cover and then just gently tug that through so that it tightens. Sometimes rubber bands get brittle and they might break, so it's always good to have a few extras on hand. So again, I threaded the rubber band through the hole of the backing board and then through a few of the inside pages, a few more of the inside pages, and ultimately through the hole of the cover. And then once you put the stick into the remaining loop, you have your rubber band binding on the back, your stick cover there, and you have a terrific homemade journal with pages and pictures just ready for your imagination. In the next segment, I'll talk a little bit about some alternatives. Maybe you don't have a tool hole punch, so I'll talk to you about how you can use a single hole punch, talk to you about how you can use some yarn instead of rubber bands and sticks, just to give you some options, so hopefully you'll be able to make these imagination journals at home. Okay, in this segment, I want to just explain, in case you don't have a two-hole punch at home, I wanted to give you an alternative with a single hole punch. Basically, you're going to use the punch to make the holes. I will warn you that in the very thick cardboard, it can be pretty challenging to get that hole. Doable, but challenging. So if you stick to a thinner cardboard for your backing board, you shouldn't have any problems at all. The most important thing will be getting all the holes to line up. This is one of the drawings that I'm going to use for my inside pages, and it already has holes made. So you would punch your holes on one piece of paper to start, and then use that to mark your hole placement on your backing board. And then use your hole punch, trying to be as specific as you can on that hole to make your hole. You do the same thing for all your inside pages. I gathered about 2 or 3 together. I want to make a mark. Sometimes I make an X. Sometimes I make the circle. If you need help keeping them all together, you can paper clip them. That way they won't slide out. And then we will hole punch them. Try to find my X and hole punch them. Same thing on the next batch. This might be a few too many, but we'll see if I can make it work. We trace the holes so we know where to make the punch. We slide it in, and we did it. Okay, so I've got, 10, 12, maybe 15 pages here. You can see my holes all line up, which is important. Set those on my backing board, and then we're going to do the cover. Now this was that blue brochure that I had, and you noticed it's got some writing. I didn't really talk about the fact that you could embellish the cover. In the instance here, I glued on some flour. I had this tissue paper that I thought went good with the blue. So I'm just using the glue stick and putting the glue on the cover page rather than on the tissue. Tissue is a little more fragile, easily torn if you're rubbing glue on. And then just setting that down in place. If you need to, you can go around if you missed a spot. Okay, then we will be ready to mark our holes and to make our holes using our single hole punch. So we line up all our holes, again using that stick or a pencil, get them all in line so that you can see through them. And then in this instance, instead of a twig, I'm using some yarn. And I've cut, probably about 15 inches of yarn or string. Always want to have more than you need. You can trim the excess. And you're going to thread that through, leaving the tail. We're going to do the same thing to the lower hole, taking that loop, pushing it through, and we'll use our stick again. Let's see, I might have one that's a little bit shorter. put the stick through one loop and then pull everything tight, and we'll double knot this. Put a little bow if we want. We can trim whatever is extra. But there, instead of a rubber band and instead of a 2-hole punch, we have used the single hole punch and some yarn to bind our book. And the nice thing about this book is, if you happen to be left-handed as I am, you could always turn it this way and fill the pages like so. It's a little bit different, but then that turned page won't be in the way of your hand. One last idea that I want to share with you is a typical file folder that I trimmed down. So, for example, one of these folders, trimmed it down to the 8.5 by 11.5, did my hole punches and tied with the yarn. That way you get a nice front and back all in one surface, and then your pages are inside. So, I hope this is inspiring to you. I hope you're able to create something. We would love to see what you create. I'll give some information at the end of the video on how you can share that. I would also just love to hear about what you're filling your journals with. Maybe you're going to write a story about what's going on with our current COVID situation, or maybe you've got some song lyrics or poems that you're making. Maybe you're going to put some photographs in there. Keep us posted. We'd love to know what you did. Just let your imagination go and enjoy your imagination journal. Thanks.